You can see that that is our reference picture we're going to be using. Let me bring back up my webcam right here. Okay. Then we're going to put that right back down here so we can see what we're painting. Okay, and there we have it. Now, I currently have a few paints already out on the palette, as you can see right here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with the sky. We'll see how well that goes. Let's see. I'm going to get a pretty big brush. I like to use this kind of size brush. It's a lot easier for painting larger areas. Now, as I mentioned before in our previous videos, what I am using, the kinds of paints, they are art grade paints. So they're a little bit thicker than the standard student-based paints that we're used to using in class. But if you have art-based paints, all you have to do is just art grade paints. Just water them down a little bit. They become essentially the same thing. So I'm just watering these down, just like this. And I'm going to start with the pinks and the purples in the sky. So I'm going to take a little bit of white. I'm going to mix that in with my red. And the color red that I have, I am going to be using today a permanent red. That's what this is. The white is just standard titanium white. And the blue is ultramarine blue because it mixes better to make a good purple. So I'm going to start with a pink, kind of pinkish right there. Add a little bit more water to it. I'm going to go straight up into the sky. It looks like that we're going to have it be right about here. This is where the sun's going to be, and it's setting. It's going right down just like that, and we're going to blend this on in. Just going back and forth, just using the tips of the brush to make these colors. Put these colors down just like that. Gonna go back in, get a little bit more water with this, maybe make it a little bit more red, and we're going to blend that red into the pink. So there we have the pink. Let's blend some more red right into it. Go down just like that. And if you watched the last videos, you know that this paint that I have dries fairly quickly. So I'm going to be going back over it in a little bit to bring out some of those whiter areas again. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to try to get this part up here being a pinkish kind of purple. So I'm going to mix some of the white and red together with the ultramarine blue. We're going to get a nice purple going on there. Hopefully these two colors will mix well together to give us the purple that we're looking for. You know, that's not bad. Okay, that's a decent kind of pink purple. I'm going to add a little bit more water to that so it flows easier. There we go. Now we're going to use that right up here in the corner. We're going to just fade that right in, just like that. Now I'm going to rinse off my brush. I'm going to need a little bit of that over here. So I'm just going to take a little bit, put it right up there. Then I'm going to start fading these colors in. And I'm just using the tips of my brush. Drying off my brush right there. And all I'm doing here, I'm just using the tips of my brush, barely touching it, and I'm blending all these colors in, getting rid of all the hard edges. Little X motions, that's it. Just let the tip of your brush do all the work. Okay, now that we have that done, I can go back in, and now I can start adding in some more of those whites that I was missing out of before. So I'm just going to mix some more white pinks together. I'm going to go, let's take some of my white dirty water, or clear dirty water. That dirty water over there, that's a little bit muddy, as you can see. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this, put it right up here, and we're going to think about where the sun's going to be. And we're going to fade that into the red. Now I'm going to just get some of that excess paint off, and I'm going to blend it in just like I did before. So wash some of this off. Then we're going to blend it in. So just like before, little X motions back and forth. Get some more reds in there, make a little bit more pink. Hey Sophie, what's up? Just get a little bit more red, mix these paints in there. We'll have a nice smooth transition for the sun. Now it's not picking up very well on the camera, but this is coming out to be a pretty nice sunset in real life. Or I guess not really real life because, well, we are painting, but you get what I'm trying to say. Now it actually does look like there's a little bit of yellow in that picture. So let me get a little bit of yellow. We're going to mix that in with the white. So I'm going to get some lemon yellow here. And we don't need much, we just need a little bit. Mix some water with that, a little bit of the lemon yellow right there. And then we are going to go in right about here. I'm going to mix that in. Pull it across. Okay, now that we have that done, we can go into the sky area. We can start making some clouds. Actually, now that I look at it, I'm going to need a little bit, just a touch more blue right up here. Just a touch. Okay, a little bit more over here. Just blend these colors in. Okay, now I can start adding in the clouds. And the clouds, very easy to add in. As you can see in this picture, it is just some blues mixed in with some whites. So I'm going to go back, get some more of my ultramarine blue, because that's the same color we're going to use for the sky. So put some more ultramarine blue in my palette, as you can see right there. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm using this brush to mix it up with just because it's bigger. It's going to be a lot easier to do that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get another brush, and we're going to make the clouds using that. Because this brush is really good about putting a lot of paint down. I want something that's going to put just a little bit so we can blend it later. Okay, so we have that. Let's go ahead and put that in there. I'm going to get a fan brush right here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in the clouds. So we see a few clouds right around in here. Take a little bit of the pink that we made up. And then I'm going to mix that with some of the blue, and we're going to make the dark color first. So what we want here, we want to try to match that color that we see on the painting, and we might need a little bit more pinkish red, so I'm going to take some of that purple. Let's see if we can get that color just right. That's pretty close. Okay, I think that is, yep, that's about the right color. So what we're going to do, we're going to go straight in here and we're going to make fluffy little clouds. So we're just going to take the fan brush and go poof, just like that. We're going to fluff these clouds up. And we're going to try to keep them level because these clouds, they're level in the sky. Otherwise, it's going to look like that they're just kind of floating there at odd angles. So we're going to cloud right there. We're going to keep another one about right here. And this cloud's going to go over kind of like that. And then let's add one more over here. It's not in the picture, but that's okay. We are artistic. We can add in clouds if we want to. Okay, now if you notice in the picture, the sun is setting low, so underneath the cloud is where the highlights are going to be. So what we want to do, we're going to go in and add in some of those highlights. I'm going to keep kind of similar color, but I'm going to wash out my brush first. And I'm going to try to mix up some of those highlighted pinks. So some white, a little bit of the red, and I want to add in just a touch of the blue too. So a little bit of the purple that we made. Add that in here. We want basically a highlight, just of that. So kind of like that right there. And what we're going to do, we're going to go in and just add those cloud textures. Roll the brush around a few times. And we want to add that pink down where the sun is going to be hitting it. Just mixing in these colors and you just don't want to add these in willy-nilly. You actually want to think about where they're going to be at. And I actually add in a few too many. So the last step I'm going to do, I'm going to add in some more dark colors right back into it. Let's see, dark colors right here. Nice dark colors, and then Okay. And a few more of the pinks. Now, once you get the basic colors down of your clouds, a really great way to blend these in is to take a rounded kind of flat brush on the end and then just kind of stab it. I mentioned this before in my previous videos, but just kind of take a flat-ended brush on the tip, and you're just going to go in here and you're going to stab it in. That's going to blend all these colors together, so it makes it look more like a fluffy little cloud instead of a choppy little thing that's floating up in the sky, kind of like a mountain. Now, we want to make this look like a cloud, so we're just going to go in and lightly just stab these colors, and it's going to blend all of them together and make a nice fluffy cloud. So you want to pick where they're going to be at and then just stab them in. We're going to try to keep the brush horizontal as we go. Okay, there we have some clouds. Now for the mountains. Actually, no, let's add in first. Let's add in the lake because there is a lake there, and the lake is going to be the same thing we did above. We're just continuing it down to the bottom. So I'm going to need a little bit more pink, mixing that up right here. And I'm going to use that to paint in the lake. So we're going to go right about here. Just going to go back and forth just like that, paint in this lake. A little bit of water. And we don't need it to be exactly the same color, but it needs to be pretty close. Then I'm going to need a little bit more red. I think I ran out. So let's go back, get some more permanent red. There we have it. We're going to go right back down here. Blend these colors over. And if you remember, we did add in some yellow to the sky, so let's go ahead and add that in down at the bottom. And a little bit of purple, so a little bit of red, purple right in there. And we do see the reflection of a cloud, so let's go ahead and add that in there as well. Mirror reflection, so that is going over here. And then we have one under it and one right there. Okay, now what we want to do with that to make it look more like it is cloud in a reflection, we're going to rinse off our brush. And we're going to go right back over it and kind of smear those colors in. So take a dry brush. Okay, next we're going to add in the mountains, and then we're going to add in the snow, and we should be good to go with this. So with the mountains, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some black, and I'm going to mix it with some red, and we are going to have a nice sunset kind of background mountains. And I'll mix it with a little bit of blue too. So we got some black. Gonna mix some red with it. And then we're going to go and add some blue to it as well. Really nice dark color that we have there. And then we're going to water it down. That way we have a nice translucent kind of color for the background. And it's not going to be solid black. It's going to be a little bit of purple with the black because we're mixing blue and red with it. Okay, and then I'm going to just block off where I want the mountains to be in the background. So kind of like that right there. And I'm going to block off where I want the snow to be. So it kind of comes in like that. Comes in and goes boom down and back up. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the black that I made up right here, and I'm going to just dab it in there like that. And I'm going to use this brush, and we're going to make a bunch of trees with it. So this is my flat brush, and we're just going to go in and we're going to go just like that. Kind of stab it like we did the trees, and kind of stagger the trees up a little bit. I mean, stab it like we did the clouds, not the trees. And that'll give the illusion that there's lots of trees back there. And you didn't do a whole lot of work to do that either. Just put your paint back on there. You can even mix in a few other colors if you want, and just all kinds of trees. All sorts of trees back there. We're going to try to cover all that up. A little bit more so it doesn't look like we have translucent trees. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. So now, next thing we want to do. That snow is not really white. Instead, it is more of a blue. So we're going to go ahead, add in some blues to our whites. I'm going to get my second palette here, get it ready to go. I'm going to take some of my white, get it right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add in another thing of white because I'm going to need quite a bit of it to cover that up. And we are going to need a little bit of pink and some blue. I'm actually going to use phthalo blue for this instead of the ultramarine. Ultramarine blue is more of the purpley blue. This is more of a, well, more of a sky type of blue. Okay, we'll go in here. And I'm going to get a nice little chisel brush, and that's what this is. It comes in at an angle. So you can see it comes in at an angle just like that. So that's what I'm going to use to get some of this in there. I'm going to go into the white, and I'm not watering this down. The reason why is because if I water it down, it's not going to go over the other paint as well. So I'm going to just go straight with my paint right here, and I'm going to try to block off where I think that these, oh, sorry, the sides of this little pond is. So kind of like that right there. I'm going to chisel this in. Down like that. And I'm going to have the same thing over here. So I'm going to turn the brush around. Let's see, it comes in like this and then goes, cuts back in, back over, and then just like that. Let's make a few of these chiseled in there. Okay. Let's touch up some of these lines that we have here. And then the next step is we're going to add in our blues. And the blues are going to make it look like that it's actually snow. So wipe off my brush here. Let's go straight into our blues. We're going to mix in some water, a little bit of our blues here. We're going to go straight into our whites again, and we're going to mix this up, get a nice dark blue. Or sorry, a light blue, not really a dark blue. Get a nice light blue right there. See how pretty that is? That's a really pretty blue. Okay, and we're going to come in here. We already have some red down, which is good. That's what we're going to need. And we're going to take this and we're going pew, 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 just like that. We're going to fill this in. And what we are doing, we are making the dark colors of the snow first. So then we can add in the lighter colors and it'll make it pop. There we go. Add a little bit more water to this. Liven it up a little bit. And then boom. All right, let's see here. Oh, hang on one second. Let me get over here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Had to get something. Okay, so we got that chiseled in. Let's go on in here and start adding in the lighter values for the snow. Okay, so with the snow, we are going to come in with our white paint. We already have a lot of this down, but we're going to mix in some water with the white paint. It's going to get it very watery, translucent, and then we're going to go right back over all the snow again, and we're going to add in the highlights that we need. So same brush that I used before, just mixing in some white with it. Okay, and now we go, there's a hill right here, so we go, and another one right there, and then we have these in the background, just like that. Then it goes, and then another one. I'm just going to chisel some of these in, just like that. Little snow banks. Okay, then we go. Just like that. Chisel some of those in. Alright, and I'm making some sharp angles right there for the snow. And you don't have to go exactly what you see on the picture. You can have artistic license with it. Go a little bit away from it. It's okay. Just because it's not perfect doesn't mean that it's not good. Okay, there we have a snow bank. Now let's go in and add in the shadows because there are shadows in this lake. So I'm going to dry off my brush here. And it looks like the shadows are kind of a dark blue like we had before. So I'm going to go right back into our dark blue that we used for the trees and the mountains in the background. It's right here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just chisel in right underneath where those snowbanks are. So just like that. Try to keep it a straight line. If you need to turn your brush, you can. Remember, you're only going to see the bottoms of it. And finally, let's see here. We actually have a few trees. Oh boy, I like adding in trees. Okay, so I'm going to add in with my chiseled brush, same thing I did before. Same brush, going to take the same paint, so the dark kind of blue purple I made for the background, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to, it looks like it comes up right here. I'm going to go pew, just like that. And it's got a little crook in it too. I'm just taking the chiseled edge of my brush and I'm adding those in. Little branches and twigs and things like that. Okay, and same thing right over here. Just, it's a big tree. Get some more paint on here. And this tree's got a little crook in it. It goes kind of like that right there. Okay, and now I want to add in a couple shadows to the snow. So I'm going to take my dirty brush that I used to make the trees. I'm going to go right into my whites and my blues, and I'm going to make just a tiniest little shadow. And then I'm going to come right over here to where I think that these need to be shadowed in. I'm just going to add that in and swoosh it right around. Just like that. So, So these little hill banks right there. Add little shadows in. Little divots right over here. One right over there. Over here. Just wherever you think it needs it. Okay. Final step, and this has to do with the water. We are going to go into our darker colors here, and we're going to just pull those down, make little reflections wherever you saw those. And a neat little trick, if you have any paper towels or anything like that, which you should if you're drying your brushes, which you need to. What I'm using is I'm using an old cloth, but you can just take whatever you're using to dry this up with and just dab it on there, and it'll pick some of those colors right up. So it's not as intrusive as it was before. The colors are still there, but they're not nearly as strong, and that makes it look like it's kind of like a reflection. Okay. And that is our very quick snowscape with the sunset in the background. Thank you all very much for watching. Oh, hi Alice. Sorry you missed it. We're actually just finishing up right now. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you'd like to rewind this tape, watch it again. Wow, I'm old. If you'd like to rewind the video and watch it again, you're more than welcome to. Follow along if you'd like. This very simple snowscape with the setting sun in the background. Anyway, I'll be back again, same time tomorrow, 11:30. We'll try to do a drawing next time. Well, thank you all very much. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching.